Here we go. Second time's a charm, I guess. Alright, sleep log 1. Steps. I've been angry. I've always been like that since I can remember. Since I was a child, I've always had problems controlling that. I still do. Sadness and anger for me have always gone hand by hand, and they're the clearest feelings I've had ever. I think the anger has come from a place of protection for myself, so that when anyone or thing comes for me, anger will outweigh my fear. Or at least that was my first reasoning when it came to this problem that I realized that I have. I haven't been happy in a while now, and for some reason anger and sadness could have brought paranoia with them, or maybe it has always been there and I haven't noticed. But the point of this is that my feelings are rarely positive, and with that little bit of context, we can get into this. When I was a child, I used to live in a different apartment from where I live now, and that place was the highest apartment of the building. It was a very pretty apartment, all things considered, and I still miss living there to this day. However, it was a very eerie place, especially when you were alone in there. It was cold, and you could feel like this crushing energy, you know? If that makes sense. And since most of the time after school I was alone, I always felt scared. I didn't feel safe in that place. Now this problem was easier to handle thanks to my brother and sister who were sometimes in the house with me, so I wasn't always alone. Now this made it better when they were there. It just made it worse when they weren't. So when I was alone, I felt even more scared. I could hear their voices, and when I went to the room they came from, there was nobody. I could see them moving from room to room, but again, there was nobody. Once I heard steps coming from me and my siblings' room, and I remember I got scared because I knew there was nobody in the house. Shit. Fuck me. Once I heard steps coming from my siblings and from my room and my siblings' room. I remember I got scared because I thought, my first initial thought when I heard those steps was maybe it's an upstairs neighbor. But again, it was the highest apartment in the building. So there was no chance it was an upstairs neighbor because nobody lived up there. There was nowhere up to live, you know? And that's when I got scared. When I heard those steps, and I thought maybe it's somebody up, like above the apartment. I don't know, I just got scared. So I hid in my parents' room, and eventually I fell asleep. And there wouldn't be any problem with that. Except that when we moved to the new apartment, we are the lowest apartment in the building. So now there are upstairs neighbors. And when I try to sleep, I still hear steps, like coming from up top. So I don't get as scared now. Well, I do now, but not in those instances. The fucked up part comes when I talked about this with my father. I told him about the things that I saw in the other apartment, and that I could still hear steps in the new apartment. And I told him that now it's just a lot more convincing that it's an upstairs neighbor. But what really fucked me up with that conversation was when I told that to my father, he just looked me dead in the eye and said, but that nobody, literally nobody has lived above us for 1 year. So what the fuck are those steps? I have no idea. Anyway, that's it for today. And yeah, just remember, if you don't hear anything from me in the next week, they've taken my soul.